Do you know, this puzzles me all the time when someone tells me that when I ask them, do you know anything about life insurance or what's out there? And they'll typically always say term and whole. There is more than term and whole. There is so much more. Insurance, if you go back and read books, read Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance, read the Tax-Free Retirement, read the Stress-Free Retirement, whatever it's called. They will tell you they have been using insurance for years to create wealth, create their own bank so that they don't have to go to Chase and Citibank and say, can I get a loan today? Yeah, my credit's messed up, but no, really, can I get a loan today? And they deny you. And now you're walking away feeling that your dreams is shattered because you woke up with this big dream that you're going to open up a business. This is why I say people have been using insurance for infinite banking and creating wealth so that when they need money, they ain't got to go to Citibank. They ain't got to go to Chase. They can go into their own bank that they created and get their own cash without penalty, without taxes, and do what they want to do. But you have to start it early. I mean, it amazes me how people think that, well, if they don't put nothing in, they're going to get some out right away. That is our problem. Every other community takes full advantage of things like that. And yet we are left behind. We can change that whole dynamic. Those days need to be over. When I tell you the different types, okay, group life insurance, that is what you get from your job. I remember when I started on Wall Street and I went in there and I sat in the office and they gave me these HR papers, and then one of the sets was they're giving me life insurance. And I'm thinking, okay, how much is it going to cost me? Oh, it's not going to cost you a thing. So I'm really happy now. See, because we always jump on what's free, not fully understanding or comprehending that there might be more to this story. So I have group insurance with my job, so I'm good, right? I ain't got to get no more life insurance. I don't got to get health insurance. No, you do. Because when you leave out that job, whether you quit, whether you get fired, whether you retire, that insurance is not going with you. And if the company has it where it can go with you, because only if you are doing it, you will, I promise you, you'll be so upset with yourself that you didn't get your own when you were young and could, because you're going to see that you're going to be paying through the roof what they're telling you. Someone shared with me they left their job and asked them how much the insurance would be when they left. $1,500 a month. Y'all go ahead with yourself. So know that just because it's free or they have you paying $7 out of your paycheck does not mean it's really beneficial to you. If someone one more time comes to me and tells me that they have insurance with their job, and I ask you to show me a policy, and I'm telling you you can't because you're going to show me a certificate because they have a policy on you. You don't have a policy, which is why when you leave out that door, it stays right there with them. We had a situation where someone came and they said they came to me for a policy, but they were sharing the story within the family that happened. That the husband left work, was on his way home to his wife, did not make it home. And the wife goes to call to make arrangements, and she needs the policy info. They told her he wasn't insured. What are you talking about? He's been employed with you for such and such amount of years. Yeah, but he was not on the clock. What do you mean he wasn't on the clock? He had already left for the day, so they would not pay on that policy. This is what I'm telling you. Stop playing Russian roulette. So when you think about the group insurance, know this. Only 0.9% of those policies actually pay out. The others do not. Okay. The next one to think about that people amaze me with. Term insurance. Everyone jumps on term. You're watching TV, you're laying on your couch, and you see a commercial, $10 a month for $200,000, and you jump on it, thinking it's permanent insurance. It is not permanent insurance. It is temporary. It's going to end. You can get it for 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years. When that 10, 15, 20, 30 years is up, you no longer have insurance. You no longer have wealth to leave to your family. You got it cheap because you said, oh, I'll get to leave my family this big amount. No, you left them nothing because you outlived your policy. And as I often say, which one is it? You going to pray for God to keep you from all sickness and diseases? Or you going to get a 10-year term policy? Which one is it? You want to die in 10 years, or do you want to let him keep you from sickness and diseases? We do it because it's cheap, not understanding the consequences it can have on us later. Listen, it has its place. If you think about it, if you get term, at least, please, I beg you, get it and have permanent already. Please, I beg you. Because if you just walking around with a term policy, a term life insurance policy, and if something was to happen to you and you get diagnosed with something, you may not be able to get permanent when that term is up. Please. There are even companies out here dropping y'all like hot potatoes if you get diagnosed with something. And then I can't help you. So please, that is when you put your family to do what we should not put them in a position to do. Why? Because I don't know who told the lie, but GoFundMe is not the funeral expense account. So let's stop putting our families in a position that they have to do that. Term, by the way, has no cash benefits to you while you live in. It is only beneficial to your family when you're gone. But I'll tell you one thing, one improvement that they have made is that if you're going to get term, if you don't get it with me and you go to somebody else, make sure you get it. That means that hold on. That means that at least if God forbid life comes knocking at your door. Did I lose audio? No. God forbid life comes knocking at your door hard. You can at least pull that income on the living benefit side. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even though that term is going to end, if you get ill in that time, you can pull income. Say, listen, doctor said I got so-and-so. Send me $100,000. Send me $10,000 a week. Send me $20,000 a month. You have access to that cash. That is wealth leaving in your infinite banking, if you want to call it that, waiting for you if you so need it. Where do you find that at? You also have to think about the only reason another reason I don't want you to get term is if you can't afford permanent. And that goes out the window because anybody that tells me they can't afford permanent, you didn't look. Because you can get anything to cover you. I want you to be in something permanent, but I don't want you out here naked. So if by chance you can't afford permanent, go ahead and get you a term. But I promise you, please, as soon as your financial situation changes and you get that wealth going, more, maybe earning an extra paycheck, turn that term into a permanent policy quickly before life happens and you won't have a chance to. Whole life, the other one that everyone knows about, everyone thinks about, everyone talks about. Yes, it was the first form of permanent insurance ever created. It's because people were tired of the temporary. People were tired of outliving their term policy. So they came up with whole life. Whole life, you can pay it till you're 100 years old. You can be covered till you're 121 years old. You can make the same payments month after month after month. You can pay it up early if you want. You could pay it up in 10, 20, 30 years. If you do that, that means you're getting access to cash growth quicker. But there are different whole life policies. Know which one you're in or which one you need. You have non-participating, which is the traditional one where you don't earn dividends. And then you have participating where if the company does well, they will pay you dividends. If you have a whole life policy right now, someone asked me the other day, oh, how do I know if I have a participating? Well, guess what? Are you getting a check every year from the company saying, thanks for banking with us? If you're not in a participating. They would ask you, you had options. They would send you the check, or they would say, do you want us to put this into your policy so it can still continue to grow at the fixed rate? Or it will tell you, okay, do you want us to make your future monthly payments with it? That is what it's going to give you the options. If you have not had that talk, you don't have a participating whole life. Whole life has that protection that you don't have to worry about a thing. But there is no guarantee that you'll have cash value growth, and there's definitely not going to be no dividends. Yes, whole life is more expensive because they're giving you that guarantee at the end of the day. Next, you have index universal life. Let me tell you something. This is like the upgrade version of whole life. So all y'all out here hearing about infinite banking, they either are using whole life or they're using index universal life. This is what I mean about creating bank compound interest. I have shown someone that if they get a policy on a baby, $1 million policy, where that $1 million policy, if they overfund, can be now having access to 2 million or 3 million and then 4 million and 5 million and 6 million. Why? Because they decided to do something better. You put $1 million policy on a 15-day-old child, you have just broke the dynamic of them ever being broke because you have just made them a millionaire. So with you making them a millionaire, you have given them access that with the cash growth, again, like I said earlier, they don't have to worry about student loans. What student loans? My parents created bank for me. My grandparents created bank for me. My godparent created bank for me. So I can go take the cash out and put myself through school. Or I can go, I want my first car. I can go get cash out to go buy my first car because they thought about me. And that is the benefits. If you are young and you may want to start a business, you can create your own bank now so that when you get to that point where you want to get a business, you ain't got to go to Chase begging for something and they telling you, oh, your credit score ain't what it's supposed to be. And if they tell you that, that's when you're supposed to go to Credit Queen before then, hopefully, and get your credit right so that you can get those options too. But this part, it's not based on your credit. So it's based on discipline. It's based on sacrifice. It's based on wanting better. It's based on doing better now so you can have more later. That compound interest thing, if you looked at that sheet that I showed you, letting that thing compound after compound after compound. I showed someone, I was on a call with someone 11 o'clock last night, showing them how that $1 million can turn into this and then turn into that. And they were like in amazement. That's called compound interest. Did you put $1 million into an account? No. How in the world do you have access to $1 million now then? Did you put 2 million into an account? No. How do you have access to 2 million now? Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. So with index universal life, you can put those living benefits on it. You can have the cash growing at a compound interest rate. If you think about an index universal life, please do it like this. Think about it as a savings account vehicle. The same money that you're putting over there in Chase making less than 1% interest rate on your money, ain't no wealthy person ever came and told me they got wealthy by putting their money into Chase. Ain't nothing wrong that you're saving your money. Do not get me wrong. However, They don't get happy when they save money. They get happy when they find a vehicle with the money that they save to put in so that it can grow at a compound interest rate and create wealth to leave behind to their family who they said they love. Their children who, if they got to mourn them, don't have to worry about how they're going to go on. There's people that use this to create their own retirement account, tax-free growth. Tax-free growth, guys. You're not getting that with a 401k. You're not getting that with your stock options. If you look at it today, it's one way, and when you look at it tomorrow, it's down 50 points. Don't you want to take that headache off that you know that you're putting your money into a vehicle that is compounding and compounding and compounding? You could put as much money up to a certain amount, because believe me, it is a tax-free growth account, but it is real up in these streets. The IRS is only going to let you go so far. And the word that everyone should know, it's MEC. M-E-C. MEC. Modified Endowment Contract. If you hit it, the IRS is going to go knock, knock, send us some money. You hit MEC. If I tell you $1 million, you want to open a policy for $1 million because you want infinite banking or you just want to leave wealth behind, whatever your reasons are. And I tell you, okay, well, either because of your health or maybe your age, it's 300 minimum. But you can drop anywhere from 300 to 60,000 in it. Tax free. 300 to 60,000 to grow at a compound interest rate. If you're going with a conservative company, that can be anywhere up to 15%. Or if you go with another company, they can give you a cap of 65%. Some are giving you 200. And having that grow at that compound interest rate is amazing. But the minute you put $1 over that 60,000, you have just made this a MEC account, which means that knock, knock, pay us some taxes because we let you get away with so much, but that's about it. Your time is up. As I often tell people, you come into money, the first thing you better do is get a bigger policy. Say, listen, this $1 million, I done outgrew it. Give me a $2 million so that you can have a wider window to dump more money in it. What do you think the wealthy are doing? What do you think the wealthy are doing? When they file for bankruptcy, these wealthy people that be on the news, do you see them with downcast eyes? Oh, I filed for bankruptcy today. I'm so sad. Tears coming down my eyes. No, they put enough money in their checking, savings, whatever. They have diverse. Don't forget, the wealthy have diversified accounts. So they got a little bit here. They got a little bit there. Here. But the majority, where do you think they have it? In insurance. So it's growing at a compound interest rate. They could take the money when they want, how they want, and it's protected. What is it protected from? They filing for bankruptcy, all their accounts are affected, but what's not? Their life insurance. Someone sues them, takes all their accounts. What can't they touch? Life insurance. That is why y'all can say what you want, that they hiding their money, they doing it legal. That is where they putting it, one for it to grow, one to protect it, and then to leave wealth when they're gone. This is such a big thing that if we don't jump on it and get to the other side like others are doing, we are going to always be left behind. I deal with nothing but high-rated companies, and these are some of them. You may have heard it: Pacific Life, Prudential, Aegon, Transamerica, John Hancock, Nationwide is on your side. All of these top-rated companies that I deal with, but I make sure that you're going to get the best that fits you. You want to create bank? We can do it. You want to make sure that your family is not left behind with nothing? We can do it. But you have to make the first step, because otherwise it will never happen. It is amazing to me that life insurance is the last thing that people want to talk about, but it's the first thing people check for when a loved one dies. Because of why? Because they don't want nobody coming to say, you got $100, you got $1,000, you need this buried. Listen, guys, I've told y'all, I'm a funeral consultant too, along with a financial professional. So I am on both sides of this fence. I sit there and with them, and I tell you that when I see what the fights are always about, what it really comes down is who didn't put in money, who don't have money, and how we paying for this $10,000 to $20,000 funeral. So nobody wanted to talk about life insurance when they were living because they thought that, oh, you cast it and you speaking death over me. Last I heard, you can't stop it from coming. You just don't know the day or the time. But we're talking about life insurance is not just about burying you, which should be your first objective, but that you can create wealth with it. You could put your child through college with it. You could buy their first car with it. You can fund your whole retirement so that when you retire, I don't care how high inflation is, you can go on living your merry life, flying to this country, that country, laying on this beach. Ain't nobody gonna be paying you no mind because you living your best life. Unless you're the person that called me the other day. She just retired. And when she seen, because she didn't know her Social Security would be double taxed, she didn't know that she would lose money in her 401k because of COVID. She now has to go find another job because she can't afford not to. Y'all, listen, the person who educated me, I owe them everything. Because if y'all think I'm a work to the grave, y'all are out your mind. So this is how we do in life now? I can't stop working because I can't afford not to because inflation is so high and because I did not create my own retirement bucket? Because I was so busy putting hundreds on sneakers, game systems, going on this beach, that beach, this country, this state. It upsets me because I'm upset because I'm out here defending why we can do things like that while there are people out there saying that we cannot. And I tell them, don't tell me they cannot. Tell me they're not, but don't tell me they cannot. Because if you're having Grubhub orders delivered every other day, if you're out to eat here every other day, buying those sneakers, as soon as the sneaker come out, you stand on it in the line that's 12 feet long or longer and paying hundreds of dollars for those sneakers. Don't tell me you can't. Don't tell me that you can't put money aside into an account that's going to grow at a compound interest and make you more money than you even put in. That's what I don't want you to tell me. So this is why we say today, when we talk about credit, when we talk about creating wealth, it is important because you can't really get through life happy without it. I remember when I first went to get my first car, moving out of my mother's house. Okay? I went and I got my first apartment, and then I said I needed a car. I will never forget the first dealership that I went to told me they could not give me a car. They denied me and said that my credit was not there for a car. What are you talking about? I'm just now getting out of my mother's house, literally. How am I not able to get this car? No one educated me on credit. But thankfully, see, God is the head of my life, and he has been for very long, that I went to another dealership, and they did give it to me. But guess what? I paid a daggone high interest rate. So you will always have someone that'll say they will, but it will be at a cost. So what we're trying to get you is so we can be in that place that when we want something, we can go and get it. We can go into the dealership and say, give me that Mercedes, if you can afford it. And they give it to you at a 2% rate, if such thing even exists, because your credit is good. Again, if your credit is not good, we have all been there and we are still there. I told y'all, I've had that generational curse on me so long that I've cursed it, uprooted it, and casted it to the side. And to this day, I share with y'all all the time. That is why part of the reason I do not have a credit card to this day, because I knew it was like you putting a alcoholic in a bar. It was like you put a gambler in Atlantic City. I could not handle. I seen it as free money. I seen it as free. You giving me a credit? I will never forget when I got my first credit card. Soon as I left my mother's house, they were sending me credit cards to my first apartment in the mail. And I'm like, oh, I got credit cards. I got credit cards. Not realizing charging those babies, I had to pay them back. And I'm making minimum payments and wondering why when the bill comes, it doesn't look like I made anything. And then I dug myself even deeper. I go and buy a house, and then I'm there, and then they give me this thing like, oh, you have an open line of credit. So wait a minute, what do you mean I got an open line of credit? They even sent me a checkbook, y'all. And I'm saying, like, what's this mean? They were like, you can write anytime you see something you want, just write yourself a check. It'll come right out. What? Y'all, don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for it. It all has to get paid back somehow, some way. And some of us are still, our whole lives still paying on it. Student loans. If I see another student loan thing, I like to cast all of that out in the name of Jesus. But this is why we're teaching you how to do better. So with the credit and with the creation of wealth of infinite banking, you can get there. If you need that assistance, you can reach out to me. You can go to my website, meetladyg.com. Again, meetladyg.com. You have everything at your fingertips. You can book an appointment with me. It's a free consultation. You don't pay me anything. All you do is give me your time. And if your life ain't worth your time, then we in a sadder state than where I think we are. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me on all social media platforms so that you can stay updated on things that is happening, like things like this tonight, because we are going to do this redundantly. I don't care how many times I have to repeat myself. Somebody's going to get it each time. I proclaim that in Jesus' name. But when we know better, we will do better. And I could go further, but time has already gone past. So I want to stop there. Maybe the next one I can pick up where I left off. Appreciate you showing up today. I know Credit Queen appreciates you showing up today. We are going to be doing a lot more of these. When you see the flyers, please pass them out. Closed mouths don't only not get fed, but they don't break generational curses. You have to open it up. You got to get the people involved. We are doing family calls still. Arthur and I on the trust and the insurance, where we need to educate you, the family, on the importance of these things. So contact me, get in my DM. You have family members that you can't have to talk with, I promise you I will. So let's get them on. Family, frenemies, enemies, the next door neighbor with the dog. Let's get them on the line, because I don't know who told the lie, but GoFundMe is not the funeral expense account. I love you all, guys. I pray the blessings of the Lord be upon each and every one of you. I pray that you have the most amazing night's sleep. I pray that you have the peace that surpasses all understanding. I pray that everything that you have need of comes to you quickly. I pray a door of suddenlies over you, just windows of opportunity. And as you looking at the door, waiting for that thing that you've been waiting on, stop staring at the door, because he about to come through the roof. He gonna outpour blessings that you don't even have room enough to receive. And I pray that the next time I see you, you will be better off at that moment than you was right now. Why? Because the best is yet to come.